Big things are on the not too distant horizon for Polkadot. And in this video, we are going to be talking about what those big things are. Now, for the first half of the video, we are going to be focusing on what is to come in 2024 and where we're currently at with those things to come. We are, of course, talking about what is being termed Polkadot 2.0, or the fundamental and new direction that Polkadot is going in, where it is doing away with the parachain slot auction model and essentially opening its doors up for business for everybody through the procurement of Coretime. That is what we're going to spend the first half of the video talking about. And then towards the end, right towards the end, we will be doing a bit of a price update. So if you are only interested in the price, you can just skip right to the end. But big things are coming for Polkadot this year, and I am super excited about them. And what I want to do is kind of update you in regards to where we are currently at, most notably in regards to Agile Coretime, which is the term that has been coined in regards to the new model that Polkadot is kind of moving towards. If you think about Polkadot, you want to think about it as a computer. Computers have cores in them. Polkadot is the computer, the cores are the parachains. And what we're essentially seeing with Agile Coretime is the breaking down of the current barriers of the parachain slot auction model to a model where anybody and everybody can actually procure a core or a slice of a core, depending on what their needs are. You know, it's going to be a kind of one size fits all layer one blockchain, if that kind of makes sense. And this is something I'm excited about. When we think about who is really going to drive value for these different blockchains, it's going to be the builders. When you look at who brought the billions of users to the internet, it was the people that invented the likes of YouTube, Facebook, so on and so forth. And Web3 is going to be no different in that regard. So what I want to do is dive over to a tweet from Parity Technology. Now, these guys have been around for a long time. I actually think Parity Tech, and obviously Gavin Wood came over from Ethereum, was originally called ETHDev. A little bit of trivia there in lore for you guys. But there's big stuff coming on the horizon for Polkadot, including some eye-catching Snowbridge and Agile Coretime developments. Check out the thread below. So we'll touch on Snowbridge, something a lot less people know about. Obviously, everyone's really excited about this kind of move away from the parachain slot auctions. And to win an auction on Polkadot, you have to raise a load of DART, and then you have to win the auction against other people that are competing, and then you get assigned that slot for 2 years, and that slot is taken up for 2 years. We're entirely doing away with that, and I think this is a really exciting move for Polkadot. So Runtime upgrade 1.2.0 adds Snowbridge. Snowbridge allows assets to be transferred trustlessly between Polkadot and Ethereum. Plus, the system parachains runtime enabled async backing, preparing them for 6-second block time. So we're seeing an improvement in regards to the block time. And this, I believe, is going to be really the first way. When we talk about a bridge, we haven't really come up with a solid solution for actually implementing a trustless bridge. Usually there's points of failure, and bridges have become a real pain point in regards to hacks. Whereas with Polkadot and Snowbridge, they're actually coming up with a way of trustlessly bridging between these two colossal ecosystems. So part number 3 is asset conversion is added to the Asset Hub. This means wallets and UIs will allow users to swap pay transaction fees in any assets and provide liquidity to pools, and parachain runtime developers can pay XCM fees in any asset. This is pretty cool because right now it's currently DART. Meanwhile, on the Kusama network, runtime upgrade 1.2.0 disables the auction mechanism. Remember, Kusama is the canary network for Polkadot, and we're kind of doing away with this auction model and moving to this Agile Coretime. So it's disabled the auction mechanism and introduced the Coretime chain for Agile Coretime. This chain will only start sales once initialized via a successful OpenGov vote, and leases remain secured until sales have been initiated. Congrats to all engineers in the upgrade and in the ecosystem, including those at Parity for preparing these runtime upgrades. Check out the GitHub repo. So where we're currently at in regards to Polkadot 2.0 is we're trialing it out on Kusama. We're implementing it on Kusama. Kusama is meant to be the canary network, or this idea of the canary in the gold mine is, I think it's a British thing actually, with the mining. You used to send the canary down the mine, and if it didn't come back, you knew it probably wasn't a good idea for you to go down there. That's what Kusama is for Polkadot. You also now, I believe, have a bridge between Kusama and Polkadot that's now been enabled, a trustless one, which is really interesting. That we could do an entirely different video on that. But it is really interesting to see the progress that's been made and see the fact that this is being implemented now, and we've just seen an update from Parity on Kusama, and then the eventuality was, all being well, that it will be enabled on Polkadot. And again, this is going to break down all the barriers for builders. You know, this is something that's really impressive. And what I want to do now is kind of jump over to a clip that I've sped up a little bit of Gavin Wood, sort of recapping and introducing Agile Coretime again, and the move that Polkadot's going on, just for anybody who is unfamiliar. So let's play that clip. Then we're going to talk about the fact that Polkadot has hit a new record in terms of active addresses. Then we'll finish off on a little bit of price action.
Why? Why would we bother doing it? Sounds like work. Well, 2 reasons. First, economic efficiency. We've got this resource, and it's a pretty decent resource. And we're currently taking the resource and just baking it into one particular service, one particular product. It's kind of like we've got like, I don't know, a big farm, and we're producing, I don't know, flour and seeds and water and stuff. And we're taking this flour and seeds and water and yeast and whatnot, and we're baking it into one specific type of bread, when in fact there is the whole world of French pastry that we're completely missing. If we always bake it into one particular kind of bread, and it turns out that this particular kind of bread isn't exactly what everybody wants, then there is economic inefficiency. We are also motivated by technological flexibility, the ability to prototype new things with this decentralized, resilient compute resource. We want to open up the design space, ideally beyond the core development team into the hands of everybody. Because ultimately, every particular usage of this resource implies some design decisions, implies opinionation. And as soon as you're opinionated, you kind of block off a lot of the potential, So rather than fixing this opinionated design decisions, let's try and wind it back. Just provide the underlying resource in as pure a form as possible. So this is where Agile Coretime comes in. And Agile, we mean 2 different kinds of Agile. We mean Agile procurement, and we also mean Agile utilization. At the moment, procurement is not Agile. It's very heavily centered around long-term usage of one particular core. And utilization isn't very Agile either. It's a bit better, I would say, but it's still not super Agile. It's still optimized for utilizing a core for a particular compute machinery, in this case, blockchains, or verification of blockchains specifically.
So as I'm sure you guys are very much aware, you know, this is something that's filling me with excitement, something that I'm very excited about, something that I think the whole sort of Polkadot community is kind of a buzz with. And the real interesting thing is going to be, once this is actually enabled, to just see the kind of sales and the demand that we see for Coretime. That's going to be the real test here, and depending on how that goes, I think that's going to have a large bearing in regards to how Polkadot is going to do moving forwards. The last thing that I want to talk to you guys about and just drop a bit of an update on is the fact that Polkadot reached a new record in regards to active addresses. It reached over 600,000 addresses, an impressive fleet all the same. What I want to do now is actually talk a little bit about Polkadot from a price point of view. Now, is Polkadot showing that it is the strongest cryptocurrency blockchain project out there from a price point of view? In my opinion, it's not. I have to be honest. However, it has followed that technical roadmap that we set out for it, and I do think it's going to continue to do so. And perhaps on the smaller time frame, you know, we are getting some sort of a structure that could see it likely sort of reverse. But with all these price predictions that we give for a number of different blockchains, we will see them through. So we'll either see them to the point where our technical roadmap no longer stands and we've been invalidated technically, and we'll say, okay, we were wrong on that, or we'll see them to our price targets. And let's pull up our Polkadot chart. So this is essentially what we're looking at. You did get the confirmation of this break on volume, but since then you've given up quite a bit of ground. So we think you've got a smaller inverse head and shoulders in here that's likely potentially could set you up for a bigger one. And the smaller one that we're sort of focused on at the moment is giving us that $26 price prediction. Now, since we actually, and we're going to go ahead and get rid of this box, broke out and sort of triggered what you would say this pattern, we have come back and not really found it as much as support. Remember, you've got to give a bit of give and take when it comes to a market as volatile as the cryptocurrency space. However, the pattern is still very much intact because this right shoulder has not been invalidated. And this could just be a break and a feign back in. I can show you 1,000,001 examples of this. And when we drop down to the smaller time frames, we're going to do away with these arrows. We could be in a bit of a falling wedge S structure that Polkadot may come out of, and actually, then that's really going to kick us off in the direction that I believe you're now going in regards to the bigger pattern that we have down here and the target that we have at $26. So has Polkadot been one of the stronger cryptocurrencies from a price point of view? The answer, in my opinion, is no. However, we know there's big things happening fundamentally. It's not the ugliest chart in the world. I think just like the rest of the cryptocurrency market, we are in a bull market. We are going to see upside and appreciation for Polkadot. It just needs to kind of find its feet a little bit here and then look for that continuation. But that is all I've got for you in this update, guys. Super excited about Polkadot 2.0. We're moving ever closer to Agile Coretime and this kind of breaking down of the current barriers that Polkadot has in regards to actually building on top of it. You can build very easily within the ecosystem, or there's a lot of options there. There's no kind of barriers. But in regards to actually building on Polkadot itself, very exciting to see what's coming this year and the kind of uptick that we're going to see for it. That's all from me, ladies and gentlemen. If you've enjoyed the content, like is appreciated, so as a comment, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next one. Thanks all for watching. See you in the next one.